Okay, of the many things that fall into the category of, does it really matter that much? We have the topic of our headshots or our profile shots that we're using on our social media, in particular LinkedIn. The question is, how much do you need to care? What really matters? What doesn't matter? And could we do it a bit better? My name is Chris Hargraves, and this is Digital Marketing Mastery for Lawyers. You can find this and more things at digitalmarketingforlawyers.com. Let's talk about headshots for a second, because I think that to some extent we grossly overdo our attention to these, and yet at the other end of the spectrum, some people care so little about them that it's a bit of a horror story when you actually see what pictures they have on their profiles that are supposed to be their professional profiles. So the vast majority of lawyers at some point will have some professional photos taken for their firms' general marketing efforts. The question is, what should you do with them? How should you use them, particularly when it comes to your LinkedIn profile? Firstly, do you need a professional headshot at all? Because here's the truth, and sorry to everyone out there, but here's the truth. Your iPhone can take as good a picture as a professional camera for this particular purpose. The value you are getting from a professional photographer is not the quality of the gear necessarily. What it is the quality of the photo. Okay, they have the training and the practice and the ability, or some combination of those things, to actually have a good photo taken of you that you can then use. Whereas finding Joe down the road or Susan up the aisle of your particular office who happens to have the latest phone and therefore the best camera to take your photo, the quality of the photo might be fine, but it might just be a terrible photo. So the photographer's benefit lies more in making you look slightly better and in setting you up right and capturing the right smile and perhaps in a little bit of post-editing. But other than that, you could get away with just using your phone to take the photo. Have a think about that. If you don't have a professional shot, you don't necessarily need one. It's not a bad idea to have one on hand anyway, but if you can't afford it or the budget's not there or your smaller firm just doesn't pay for that sort of stuff, use a phone, take a good shot. What else do we have? Second point, face the camera, okay? This either the camera or just a slight tilt to one direction. Either way, I should be able to see the vast majority of your face because I need to understand what you look like. That's the point of the headshot. Next thing we're going to have is smile. If not smile, just a little bit leaning towards a smile. I always get accused of having too much teeth in my smile because I have a tendency to have like full smile and no smile, and photographers always say, oh, can you just smile a little bit less? Now, I don't know what that means, but I'm not very good at it, so I end up looking like a dog trying to chew a toffee. But nonetheless, little bit of smile. Something that makes you seem like you want to be there and you are a pleasant person. If it looks like a mugshot, unless you're on one of those magazines with all the most attractive mugshot people, you really don't want that as your professional image. You need to look approachable. You need to look affable. So try to smile. If you cannot smile on cue or you are not a smiley person, take a deep breath, get someone to tell you a joke or something. Do something that results in you at least coming close to looking pleasant, because not smiling isn't that good. The next one I wanted to throw in there was don't put headgear on. I see a lot of people wearing hats in their photos, and what you need to bear in mind is that while that's fine for a full screen sort of massive size version of your photo, it's not as fine when it's only 2 centimeters high, because it really makes it very hard to see your face. Now, a photographer is probably not going to let you wear a hat or a cap anyway, but just be conscious of whatever you're wearing on you or around you is going to distract from actually being able to see your face. And when it comes to your profile pic, that kind of defeats the purpose. The last one is this. You have your picture, you're setting up your own LinkedIn profile. Zoom in more than you're comfortable zooming. So generally speaking, you can offer both a crop and a zoom on these photos. The quality will be fine, okay, no matter what. You can zoom in a fair way. But mostly, you want it to be either just your shoulders and your head zoomed in, or even more than that, just your head, like a super tight shot. Now, I know that's going to feel pretty awkward as you do it because you're going to be looking at a gigantic shot of your own face. But again, bear in mind that the tiny, tiny versions people are seeing generally on their screens and on their phones are much harder to see the detail. So if you're zoomed out and you've got a full sort of waist upwards shot, I pretty much can't tell what you look like unless you happen to be wearing exactly the same thing and your hairstyle hasn't changed since you took that photo. So those are my basic tips. Generally, what's the point of all this? The point of all is to be 1, recognizable, 2, personable and friendly looking. That's it. If you can achieve those things, I think you've largely achieved what you can hope to with your profile picture. If you want to do something crazy and put it in a profile picture, just don't. While it seems funny at the time, something that seems funny at the time is almost never as funny when it's sitting on a public-facing profile. Okay, I know I talk about alienating people and being prepared to alienate people, but this isn't the opportunity to do that because you're going to alienate people you don't want to. That's it. Hit all the good buttons. I've hit my time limit and I have to go anyway. So that's all I've got time for today, and I shall see you next time.